So these juniper trees, when I first started coming out here, I was just like, oh wow, gotta, preserve them, and those are the trees. And then the neighbor's kid is like, no, they're the weeds. And I'm like, what? Right? Okay, so now I'm looking at all these trees in totally a different way. And it's like literally all the trees you want. Like they're just free. There's signs all over the place. Oh, out here for firewood, out here, And I've been looking at these trees while I've been driving for this. I've been driving a little slower than normal, so I have a little more time to gaze upon the landscape. I'm looking at these trees, and I've already talked about the gasification, and I'm just excited about that. But then I was thinking about building materials, right? I've got this huge pile of building materials. Some people might call it dirt, but I call it building materials. Dirt doesn't make great roofs. It's kind of hard to make dirt roofs just with dirt. You could do solid cement, or maybe even like a poured earth with a higher level of cement. But I'm like, yeah, that sounds hard. So I'm looking at these trees, and there's tons of them that are just perfect beams. I mean, I can just go out here and just harvest myself a bunch of trees and just prune them into straightness. There's my support columns. There's my rafters. There's my everything. That's my roof. The roof is gonna be like log cabin style, but then the walls are gonna be poured earth, rammed earth bags. Pretty exciting. Look at all these right here that are driving by, and right there is like a ton that would work perfect. It's free wood. And not to mention, the look is going to be just fabulous, like exposed logs. And then up on top of it's like a legitimate roof. Probably metal. Probably do metal roof. Lasts for freaking ever. Stands up to everything. A giant juniper harvest is coming, right? And the reason why I say I can use the roots is because I can gasify all that. So I strip off the branches, cut off the bottom, cut off the top, and all that stuff that I cut off goes into a pile that then gets gasified. Brilliant, yeah. I mean, the gasifier is not going to really handle huge chunks, I don't think. I've never seen anybody putting like logs in the gasifier. Matter of fact, quite the contrary. There's a lot of people that are chipping stuff up, right? And there's like constant feed gasifiers, but I think those constant feed gasifiers use up even the charcoal. And I was kind of excited about having a source of charcoal to make tons of biochar with. I think efficiency, there's nothing says I can't have two gasifiers. I could have this one that's in the gasifier Bible, and that one just, uses up the whole and just down to frickin', regular soot. And then the other one that's connected to the trash incinerator, that could be the way that I get my charcoal. So maybe I'll build that one to like handle bigger pieces means you have to break it up. Yeah, it's better to have smaller pieces. As long as it turns into actual charcoal and it doesn't just into nothing. Yeah, woohoo, juniper trees. Okay, juniper tree update. I have talked to the county. The department that I was talking to was probably not the right department, but they still knew a little bit. Yeah, they consider it a weed, but they didn't know any place where you could just go pull weeds. I called the BLM department and they said, Jesus, some shit flying off the goddamn truck. Shit. Oh, skunk. I swear, there's always dead skunks right around here. Apparently there's like a skunk nest or something. So anyway, I called them and they didn't return my call. So then I was like, well, I wonder how far away BLM land is from. So I looked at the satellite shots of around the area that I live, and just the main road that goes right. I was like, oh wow, that just goes right off into the mountains. No, that goes right off into somebody's property, and they've got it blocked off, so it's their road, which is kind of weird that somebody would be able to own the road and block it off like that. I drove deep. It never got to the point where I think I was next to BLM land that I knew of. There was one point where I was so high up on the little hills, and it was like this really nice open field. It was pretty juniper tree free. It looked like there was a couple that were dying, so for some reason that wasn't a good slope for them. But then that would access up into some other ones, but the ones I want are big. I want big ones, you know. I don't want like little ones. Those are, I mean, I can use some of those, but I want like some big juniper trees. So big, in fact, I want them so big that I could really only handle like one at a time. Like I could go to where it is. I'll have to buy a special trailer. Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe just putting up a sign down by where I live, you know, like free juniper removal. Maybe I'll get lucky and some people will want some big ones removed for some reason. But, you know, looking more, you know, my woodworking skills are, you know, never really done any super fancy stuff, right? I'm not really looking to do anything super fancy. Basically what I'm looking to do, and I might even have to go to a different region and buy like different kinds of logs to get some of these categories filled, because like I was seeing these, I don't even know what they are, some kind of pine tree, super long pine needles, and the freaking trees are just like perfectly straight and like the same dimensions, like all the way up, right? And that would be nice to have that kind of tree for like because I want this hugely high ceiling that just lets in the perfect amount of light and also exposes this whole view. So I want to do the support structures with big, huge, and then the same with the roof, whole log type beams that are exposed. So you look up and you see the logs that are holding up the ceiling. And then, so I want to harvest all those logs myself, all those logs. Then, on top of those logs holding up the roof, I want to cut all that lumber. So when you look up, you're looking at like really cool lumber. Now, that kind of work is normally like tongue and groove work, which isn't impossible. It's just like a few steps of processing, having the right tools, machines to process the wood into that type of stuff. There's that way, but then there's also like the just leave it live edge, leave knots, leave all that shit. Don't even put it up there. One layer going one way, and then a whole nother layer going the other way, and then cobbing in all of those voids. Now, if I was big pimping, I'd maybe like epoxy, colored epoxy to fill those voids like they do. Now, I most definitely will be doing that epoxy filled, so all my countertops will all be big, huge slabs of ideally juniper. I mean, that's the log that's freaking a weed, and it's what's right there, right? So trying to be as eco-friendly in building this house with using the materials that are very close to the house. I mean, I might have to drive a ways to get to, you know, the big logs that I want in a place where I can legally take them, right? I'm not trying to be the log burglar. I saw some great logs as I was driving around yesterday. I went deeper into Juniper Acres. Instead of driving out, I drove in. And, you know, there's some freaking trees that are like literally like right in the road almost. That I'm just like, you know, nobody would, but yeah, I gotta find some place where I can take them legally. You'd think they would just be like anywhere on BLM land, take as many as you want. That's what I would, that's what I think, that's what I would think. I would think that would be how, I mean, if I had a weed that I was trying to get rid of, I would just be like, hey, if there was any use to that weed and the people that were making the use, I'd be like, hey, you can just have it. Who knows what's in the mind of the BLM? That might be the way it is. They just have to make sure you go to BLM land. And maybe they want, you know. But I literally watch videos about people with these big machines just annihilating juniper trees, and they say they're going to charge $200 to $800 an acre. It's like, I will just go take them for free. Perfect. But I'm sure they're going to be like, oh, you need a permit. Oh, you want to log them? Oh, well, you know, everybody's got their freaking handouts. So ridiculous.